Have you ever felt like you're just not getting the results you want? It's so easy to hit a creative wall in Lightroom. It's fine for basic work, but you can quickly become constrained by its limitations. Photoshop obviously offers everything that Lightroom can't do, but it can be quite daunting. The process can be time-consuming and it's not always very intuitive. DxO Nik Collection 9 offers an answer to all of that, giving you so much more creative control with dedicated plugins to achieve a host of effects, from incredible black and white conversions and analog filters to depth masks and more refined color grading tools. My name is Vera, and in this video I'm going to explore what's new in Nik Collection 9 and how it's improved my workflow. I've been playing around with tools like color and analog effects quite a bit for portraits, and there are some great filter additions like glass effect, chromatic shift and halation. And there are also some more technical tools like denoise and sharpening that I found really helpful, particularly for my wildlife photography. In this video, I'm not going to go through every single tool because Nik Collection honestly has so much to offer and each plugin could easily have its own video. So I'm mainly going to focus on the ones that I've actually been using. Full disclosure, DxO did sponsor this video, but I've just been using it in my normal workflow to see what I actually like. But if you are interested in trying out, there's a free trial, and if you do decide to purchase, there's also a discount code for 50% off, and all that is linked in the description below. Just really quickly, for anyone who's new to Nik Collection and might be wondering what it actually is, Nik Collection is a suite of plugins that integrates with software like Adobe's Photoshop and Lightroom, as well as DxO's own editor, Photolab. Nik Collection gives you tools that offer more control for color grading, black and white conversions, sharpening, noise reduction, among others. Each plugin gives you so much more control than what Lightroom would provide, while also simplifying things that would normally take quite a bit of time if you were to do them in Photoshop. And if you're already using Adobe software, it just fits straight into your workflow. It enhances what you're already doing rather than forcing you to adapt something completely new. You can also use each plugin as a standalone software if you prefer. This new version of Nik Collection 9 also brings some pretty great updates, which I'll go into a little bit more detail later. So let me show you how I actually use these features in practice. I usually start in Lightroom. This is where I do my basic exposure corrections, white balance, and general adjustments. If the image needs a bit more work, like skin retouching or anything more, then I'll move it into Photoshop. So you can access Nik Collection from both, which is really useful depending on how you like to work. In Lightroom, you just right-click on your image, go to Edit In, and open the image in one of the Nik plugins. This creates a copy with your Lightroom adjustments applied, and you can do this as many times as you need. In Photoshop, it works slightly differently. Nik Collection shows up under Plugins menu, and every time you apply something, it comes in as a new layer. Personally, I prefer this way just because it gives you a bit more control. You can turn layers on and off, adjust the opacity, and combine everything with Photoshop's masking in addition to what Nik Collection offers you. Nik Collection includes quite a few different plugins, and each one of them focuses on slightly different things. You've got analog effects for creating film-style looks, color effects for color grading and creative effects. This is probably the one that I use the most. There's Define for noise reduction, you've got HDR effects for merging multiple images into HDR, and then there's HDR effects tone mapping if you're working with just a single image. Sharpening tools for before and after editing, silver effects for black and white conversions, and Viveza, which gives you really precise control over color and tone. This is where I've been using one of the newer features the most, depth mask. You can use depth masks in different plugins, but I think Viveza works really well for it because of how much control it gives you over local adjustments. To create a depth mask, you go to Add Local Adjustment, select Depth Mask, and then just click on the part of your image you want to base it on. From there, the software will analyze the image and create a mask based on distance from the camera. The way I often use this is to create a bit more separation between the subject and the background. So for example, I might want to warm up the subject slightly and then cool down the background to get that optical separation. Normally, something like this would take quite a while to do manually in Photoshop, but here it's just so quick to create. So I can adjust the subject, maybe increase the exposure slightly, warm up the tones, and then create another mask for the background and do the complete opposite. You can press M on the keyboard to preview the mask. I usually use this black and white one because it's just so much easier to see what's going on. And then if we go back to the panel on the right, you get this slider underneath where you can refine your selection. So using the markers, you can expand it, you can also soften the transition. And this black and white view really lets you see which parts of the image are being affected by the mask. And this is quite important because it helps everything blend more naturally when you get the transitions right. Different Nik plugins give you slightly different ways of using depth masks as well. For example, in color effects, you can use them to control how strong a filter is across the image. Like I said before, I usually do all my retouching in Photoshop first, and then use the Nik Collection right at the end for all the creative stuff. Mostly I like using color effects and analog effects for this, and I've also been using Film Pack 8 alongside this, which I've made a video about recently. I usually go for a filmic look, and these are really nice for creating more cinematic or stylized images without having to build everything from scratch. Color Effects has just so many different filters to get you inspired, and there are some really great additions too. One of these is the color grading tool. This lets you adjust shadows, midtones and highlights using a single color wheel. You can start with presets by usually going to the panel on the right and just adjust things manually. You can shift the balance between tones, tweak the intensity and fine-tune the luminance if you want a bit more control. It's quite simple to use and is a quick way to build a look without overcomplicating things. Next we have a halation filter. This recreates how on certain films highlights would sometimes bleed into the surroundings, usually with a red hue, but here you can control that as well. You can also adjust the intensity of the effect and how it spreads, how sensitive the selection is, and in advanced adjustments you can control over blur and glow as well. There are also some new filters in analog effects as well. One of them is the glass effect, which emulates the distortion that would occur if you shot the image through glass. Quite self-explanatory. This filter offers various glass textures and each one can be customized. You get 3 sets as basic, analog and geometric, and on each one of these you can control the strength, smoothness and detail, as well as how big the texture appears in relation to your subject and the orientation. We also have the chromatic shift, which is a filter that allows you to separate the color layers of the image to create that vintage ink misalignment look. This filter gives you 3 color separation presets, and you can also control the amount of offset, size and the angle. If you reduce saturation, you can also achieve this very nice two-tone look. This is just a quick snapshot of what you can do with the software, and it gives you so much more flexibility than what I've shown here. I've tried to include lots of before and afters just to give you an idea of what these plugins can give you. So overall, Nik Collection 9 opens up a lot of creative possibilities once you get used to it. If you are new to it, it can feel a little bit overwhelming since each plugin is essentially its own mini software, but you will quickly work out what fits within your workflow. For me, it's really about having those extra tools there when I want to push an image further. I don't have the patience to do it all in Photoshop, and Lightroom just feels so limited in comparison. I really liked using color and analog effects, especially given how much I liked DxO's Film Pack 8, which gives you even more ways in which you can emulate film. I also really like that it uses a non-destructive TIFF workflow across all the plugins, so nothing is ever irreversible, and you can always go back and adjust things later, which is really helpful. Another nice thing about Nik Collection 9 is that it's available as a perpetual license, and there's also an upgrade option if you already own a previous version and want to access the new features at a discount. And like I mentioned earlier, there's also a free trial as well if you want to test it out. So whether you're just getting into editing or you're working professionally, I think it's a really solid addition to any post-processing workflow, especially if you're looking to expand what you can do beyond what Lightroom can offer without making everything super complicated. So that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments section below your thoughts about Nik Collection 9. If you liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more. You can also follow us on Instagram, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!